You manifested grandiosity. She says it like a diagnosis, but with a spiritual accent, like I didn't grow it. In the dark, like I ordered it from the universe with a discount code. You manifested it. You inflated yourself. You gilded the lily. That phrase again, gilded the lily. As if I took something already beautiful and made it vulgar with too much gold. But what if there was no lily to begin with? Just a cracked pot and a child trying to make it look like something worth watering. She talks about grandiosity like it's a cultural epidemic. Everyone wants to shine, everyone wants to be exceptional. A leader, not a worker, a visionary, not a person, a brand, not a body. She says, we live in a world where ordinary life isn't enough. Where every job needs a title that sparkles, every person needs a narrative that glows. Where receptionists are impression managers, managers are leaders, workers are entrepreneurs, and sadness is a disorder. She calls it normal grandiosity. Not madness, not delusion, just everyday exaggeration, a polished self floating above a very tired body. A bright image with very little substance. She says, the grandiose self comes from childhood, a fantasy of perfection, omnipotence, specialness. The small child who feels powerless invents a crown to survive the kingdom. And healthy development, she says, means taking off the crown. Learning, you are ordinary, learning to live without it. But she never asked what kind of kingdom that child was born into. She never asked who kept telling him ordinary meant invisible. She never asked who taught him that being small was dangerous. She just says, you manifested grandiosity, you woke the dragon. But dragons don't wake themselves. They are fed. Fed on comparison. Fed on shame, fed on classrooms where half the children are told they are the future, and the other half quietly disappear. Fed on workplaces where everyone is an executive but no one feels important. Fed on slogans, world-class, excellence, innovation, success. Words so bright they blind you to the emptiness behind them. She says, grandiosity leads to an unstable self, fragile identity, anxiety, burnout, relationship problems. She is right, but she says it like the fire started inside me. Not in the culture that sells perfection by the kilo. Not in the institutions that promise a better life if you just buy their therapy, their degree, their course, their product, their belief system. She says, the dragon is mine. My responsibility, my pathology, my manifestation. I ask her very quietly, what if the dragon is systemic? What if it was raised in the same place as me? What if it grew in the silence between expectations and reality? What if it was the only thing that kept me from drowning in the mediocrity everyone is so afraid of? She doesn't like that question. It disrupts the frame, it introduces reflexivity. And reflexivity is dangerous. Because once you ask why the diagnosis, why the system, why the hierarchy, the room stops feeling neutral. It starts feeling political. She prefers functional stupidity, the kind that keeps everything running smoothly, where we follow the framework without asking what it's built on. Where the label is the label, the diagnosis is the diagnosis, the therapist is the authority, and the client is the case. She says, you're overthinking, which is code for stop asking why this system exists the way it does. Stop noticing the contradiction, stop disturbing the hierarchy. Because thinking outside the box is expensive. It threatens the smooth social order. It upsets the structure that keeps everyone in their roles. The expert, the patient, the superior, the inferior. So instead, we return to the safe script. You manifested it. You inflated it. You woke the dragon. But walking out of the room, I realized something. Grandiosity isn't always a delusion. Sometimes It's a defense against disappearance. A child standing in a vast, indifferent system and whispering, I matter, I matter, I matter. Until the whisper turns into a roar. Maybe the dragon was never the enemy. Maybe it was the only part of me that refused to accept a small, silent life decorated with professional labels and empty praise. Maybe the dragon wasn't madness. Maybe it was a protest. And maybe the real danger was never waking it, but living in a world that keeps pretending it isn't there.